All right, today we are talking about Landon Robinson. Going to deep dive on him. This is another New England Patriots 2026 NFL draft target. Landon is a nose guard or nose tackle, let's just say interior defensive tackle for Navy. He's compact, violent. Now, they have him as a nose guard because of their front, right? He's a 50, well, they do a 52 there. So head up on the center, but obviously you can, at the NFL level, you're looking, nose tackle. Let's just say interior defensive tackle, right? Ultra low center of gravity. He's a wrecking ball. He's listed at 6 foot, 280s, high 280s, but this guy brings an uncommon explosion for his frame. You're looking at maybe a 4.7, probably more 4.8, 40, but for his size, that's moving, right? Doesn't exactly have a long stride, so it's a high turnover, great acceleration, maybe not the fastest top end speed, but I mean, who needs a 6 foot, guy who weighs 280 pounds really going 40 yards? But this guy can move for his size. Elite twitch, elite leverage, takes on doubles all the time. He's a team captain. I mean, this guy is the pulse taker for Navy defense. He's the kind of interior defender who makes an offense feel like on every snap, what is this guy doing? Because it's not just the size, but also the technique and the relentless pad level, the handwork. The guy's got moves. He's going to be a problem for any opponent because he's going to have leverage on whoever it is. The interior guy that has the twitch to just blow past guys and the ability to chase down just about anybody in the backfield. So any NFL team that's coveting gap shooting, short area explosion, Patriots should be looking at this guy. Yet, if you told him to hold that gap, you're going to get a aye, sir, and nearly perfect execution of two gapping because you have a one-of-a-kind player with an unusually high motor for a true nose guard. Plus, you got him on special teams. The guy has 2 fake punt rushes, which actually were pretty long runs. And, that's a guy who obviously has a certain level of coordination, ball carrying ability in space, and just the willingness to be used as a gadget player. The willingness. Like, he's going to get the job done, which obviously playing at the Navy Service Academy, that's to be expected. The Patriots to put him in as, a running back anytime soon or always being used as a gadget player. But that short area pop and also some straight line speed, those projections are a bit more notable because he's obviously quicker than his tape shows. And that will open up multiple roles for him, including being a potential fullback. And having that dual role of a sub defensive tackle with a fullback, which kind of gives you that Scott Matlock role that they have for him on the Chargers. And I have to point out, this isn't just a conversation that I'm having because of his physical upside. Because, he could easily be a pure sub defensive tackle for the Patriots. This guy actually has legit production up front. Now, last season, which was his breakout year, first time being a full-time starter, 61 tackles, 6 for tackles for loss, 4 sacks, and multiple forced fumbles, right? So, first-team all-conference obviously establishes him both, if you watch the tape, a 2-gapper and a 1-gap disruptor. So, again, running both techniques there. Now, this year, I think through October 4th, I have this. Right, through October 4th, he's got 28 total tackles, right? 6 tackles for loss, 5 sacks, and 1 fumble recovery, and multiple QB hits. Yes, I'm not going to say that's jaw-dropping numbers, but we're like 4 or 5 games in the season for him. And that's coming from a nose guard at Navy who has production that has scaled quickly once he actually got starter reps, right? So maybe he's not cumulative numbers are amazing, but this is a guy who is now working full-time for the Navy on the defensive side of the ball. And again, it's a nose guard who is currently tied for 7th in sacks in the nation for all FBS schools. Yes, 7th. So he definitely generates a stat line. And this matters because production at Navy is incredibly noisy. Don't look at stat lines at Navy or basically any of the service academies, because the way they do things is everybody's basically getting on the field. Everybody's getting a shot at playing. That's kind of the idea. That's like their, that's their mission statement at these service academies for their athletes. So getting that sort of tackle volume and also being like the anchor of the defense and getting that many snaps is notable, because they're saying, I can't take him out, because if we do, it's going to give the other team an edge. So all those tackles for losses, sacks, just involvement in key plays, and of course, leadership. The intangibles are off the charts. This guy is an instant leader at the NFL level. And also, it's not just numbers. Go watch the tape. Anchor and leverage. I haven't seen a snap yet where he's lost the pad level battle. Also, inside hand violence. I mean, you could swipe at his hands, but it's not going to stop him. You're not going to move him laterally off the point, by the way. You can blindside him all you want. You're not moving him. He consistently controls the A-gap. So control the A-gap or get through it. He's got it. Hand technique, quick, violent, rips, sheds, blocks, no problem. Instant penetration, hand timing's amazing. You're not going to be able to just shoulder or arm contact him. He's got decent bend, ankle flexibility, hip flexibility, no problem. Good leverage. He can easily dip under reach blocks and explode through gaps. Again, motor, competitive toughness, all that personality, intangibles, hard through the whistle. Sustained effort. The guy always appears to be in the tackle box. Not a one-snap rotational pass rush specialist. He's there every down, disrupting. Every down, high motor, burning hot. And it's not like some sort of blind aggression. He is a team captain. He's communicating the front. He's making adjustments. Plays a role in pre-snap checks, situational alignment. So Vrabel will be able to rely on him for big moments, those short yardage goal lines. Nothing better than to have a leveraged nose guard to beat the tush push these days. Trust me, this guy might be worth the draft pick just as a center bully on these short yardage plays that can sometimes determine the outcome of games. Now, he's not perfect. First thing is obviously the length. He's 6 foot, so not going to have the long reach. He's also not going to be able to really bat down a lot of balls, but that's to be expected. He's not ultra heavy. He's at the 280s, upper 280s, maybe going to be low 290s. He maybe have to get closer to 300 without losing explosiveness at the NFL level. Doable, but that's a development path. That requires not just eating a lot and working out a lot. You got to be able to do those things, but then also not lose who you are as an athlete. Being explosive, flexible, trying to add on that much more lean muscle usually has some setbacks. The other question I think people can see, if you're not looking at him as more of a niche player, but if you're looking at him as like, a 2 or 3 down guy, is the scheme translation. Now, Navy runs a very unique defense, and the question is, can these service academy schemes really translate to the NFL? I would make note that there's not a lot of guys in the NFL from those service academies. And if they are, again, they're a little bit more of niche players. So does Vrabel or any other NFL team view him as a penetrating 3-tech, a 1-tech, maybe is more of a true 2-gap nose guard for gap control? That's where I think you might find some GMs and coaches being like, I'm not really sure exactly how much we can use him. Therefore, what is his valuation in the draft process? Pass rush consistency definitely gets upfield, but it definitely comes from more of a grinder, power rusher with some moves. Don't get me wrong. He's got some moves to it, but let's not say he's an interior sack artist yet. Now, hanging around Barmore and Milton Williams, I'm sure he's going to pick some things up. So he can convert that quickness to consistent NFL level pass rush moves. I don't think that's going to be a problem, especially with this guy's personality. Again, I think the Patriots, if they're looking and they're trying to be creative with what they have, yeah, go for the Scott Matlock D-tackle fullback example where this guy is getting a lot of snaps out. You're getting a lot of snaps out of him, fullback, special teams, D-tackle, right? So you're looking at an ultra rare, high value chess piece on offense and special teams and on defense. And probably is not going to be a massively long conversion path for him either, because he's got the physical tools, he's got the mentality, obviously has the football IQ, he's got the leadership qualities that you need. So I don't think that's just a matter of, does the team want to do that? Is it worth their time? I think it will, because now you're getting 2 or 3 guys out of one dude, and that could be his way to the 53 right out of the gate, right? And then you can really start to mold him. Do you keep him in that role for the long term, or do you think he becomes who I think is his like kind of comp? And again, this name is probably used too much as comps, but I'm dead serious, where if you watch the guy play, you look at his build and you look at his profile, and I know that I'm going to say Aaron Donald, which is always going to raise eyebrows, right? And let me level with you, Robinson is not Donald at the NFL level. We're not going to say that. But if you want somebody to think about how he plays, like, where is your comp? Where's your style? The play profile, right? Maybe not exactly the outcome or the ceiling that we're looking at, but if you want to think about how this guy fits in on your defense, ultra low pad level, check. Violent hands, check. Relentless pursuit and the ability to create disruption inside despite being a sub-tall stature, check. Position and play style, both interior, both play with leverage, both generate pressure by a short area explosion more than long arm bull rushes. The whole point of Aaron Donald is, I know what he's going to do, and there's nothing we can effing do about it. Robinson, you know who he is. He's always going to get some leverage on you. He's always going to generate pressure. He's always going to move that line back. There's explosion, which becomes a massive headache because you're just trying to contain him, right? Same thing with Aaron Donald. And there's obviously the strengths and leadership. Naval Academy captain. I don't know how you get any higher than that, really. High motor, has that defensive presence. He's the voice, constant activity. Now, even if the ceiling isn't equal, don't you want somebody that can even flash like that on your team? Compact, explosive, technique first, interior play disruptor. I'm putting that out there. I have tempered expectations, but I just don't really have another comp that I can point to right now. But again, watch him play, and yeah, you might say he's essentially the best Donald clone we have seen in years. The guy squats 650, benches 435. He's been clocked at 20 miles per hour on the GPS, 33-inch vert for that height and weight. Yeah, that's a freak. That is an Aaron Donald profile. Now, where you go after him, I don't know. That's the problem. Right now, the production's probably going to go up. The pre-draft process of his combine is going to keep him up. I'm sure he's probably going to get, at least one Senior Bowl, or I should say just one senior showcase all-star game, hula. I would hope at least the East-West Shrine Bowl. And, if he has enough disruption this year and he gets that profile high enough, I'm sure he'd be on the list for some of these scouts and teams that want to see him at the Senior Bowl. So we'll see. Is this guy a 2-down guy on certain matchups? Is he just a rotational pass rusher? Is he just a 4th down push stopper? Special teams ad? Or again, maybe he's that Scott Matlock guy who can D-tackle, special teams, fullback use. And what's nice is I'm pretty sure he's up for any of that, which is probably the most appealing thing about Robinson. He could be a multi-use player who buys in on roster flexibility. Patriots fan would absolutely love this guy. Now, of course, some team like the Ravens are probably more committed to it and they'll grab him and they'll do something good with him, but keep an eye on him. He's certainly high on my list for interior defensive tackles this year. Adding him to the mix of what's already a formidable defensive tackles. This guy is going to give you some flexibility because he's probably going to match up against some other guys better. And there's going to be certain downs in certain situations where he's probably going to be called upon, different looks. And it probably won't cost you more than anything than like maybe a day 3 pick. Even if you're just stopping tush pushes twice or 3 times a game, maybe throw him in for a fullback here and there. To me, that's these days, with the way the draft goes, to me, that sounds like a solid value of a day 3 pick. Anyway, what do you guys think of Landon? Do you think Patriots should go after him? If so, when? Let me know in the comment section below. If you guys like this content, please like and subscribe.